Good afternoon and welcome back to Dr. Logic Awkwardly Does Logic. Now that we've had a chance to motivate a little bit about what modal logic is about, let's dive into the details. You'll remember that every single logical system that we look at has three components: a language, a semantics, and a proof theory. Always got to start at the beginning, and that means language. Now, the logic that we're talking about in the initial instance is propositional modal logic. So cast your mind back to when we did propositional logic, these many months ago, and remember the language and syntax for that. Because if you've got that, you've basically got what you need for propositional modal logic. Let's get up the whiteboard in case you don't quite remember everything. We have a language that consists of a set of basic or atomic propositions. And these are things that we're going to represent with like P, Q, or even G, R, S, T, etc. So lowercase letters kind of in the middle of the alphabet. And then we have a unary operator that we interpret as negation, and three binary operators, and these are conjunction, disjunction, and the conditional. What we have on top of this is two new unary operators, and these are going to be the modal operators, the things that allow us to introduce necessity and possibility. So instead of a unary operator, we will have three unary operators: negation, which you can actually think of itself as a type of modality. What are the ways in which sentences can be true or false? One way is they can be true. One, they can be necessarily true. They can be possibly true. But then you've got all of the negative versions of these. A way in which a sentence can be true is that it can fail to be true, i.e. it can be false. And we can think of then negation as actually being one of the modal operators along with the next two that I'm going to introduce, which are necessity and possibility. So also box and diamond. We will talk a lot about boxes and diamonds. And if you don't quite remember which is which right now, that's okay. When I give you the semantics, then you will actually be able to start attaching meaning to these abstract symbols. For now, we've just got box and diamond. So this is our language, which consists in the basic symbols. Oh, can't forget, we've also got the punctuation marks, the parentheses. And then we also have the definition of well-formed formula, or with, in this modal language. And it's going to be defined in the same recursive way that we defined well-formed formulas in propositional logic, just with the addition of these two new unary operators. So we know that every atomic proposition is a well-formed formula. And then we know that if phi is a with, then just as in the propositional case, so is negation phi. But then we will also add box phi and diamond phi are all well-formed formulas. And then if phi and psi are both well-formed formulas, then the conjunction of the two, the disjunction of the two, and the implication from one to the other are all also well-formed formulas. We will adopt the same convention that we have in all of our other logical languages, which is that when no ambiguity results, we will drop the outermost set of parentheses. So I might have phi implies psi, or phi and possibly necessary phi, and phi or psi implies possibly phi or psi. So these are all different well-formed formulas using this definition. So if you remember your propositional logic, the The modal propositional language is very easy. It works exactly the same, except we have the addition of two new unary operators, which we will interpret next time as possibility and necessity. So there you have it, the language of propositional modal logic. Join me next time to find out exactly what these operators mean, at least in the context of a formal system. Take care and see you then.